All right, YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new grading profit video where we take a look at some cheap cards that you can send off to grading and hopefully come back with a PSA 10 to maximize your profit so that you can then go on to sell those cards and build out your collection with the profits that you've made. Now, before we jump into today's video, I want to say a quick thank you to today's video sponsor, which is sushigrade.net. Now, if you haven't seen sushigrade.net, let me show you what they can do. Now, the free version comes with a centering tool, so you can upload photos of your card. You can work out the centering left, right, and top to bottom. The next thing on the free one is a profit calculator. And then if you want the paid version, which you guys can actually use the code TwistedCollects for 40% off, you get access to all this other cool stuff too. So this is a gem rate page where you can see some of the top cards from the year and what their gem rate in is. One that's really interesting are the monochrome cards from Black Bolt and White Flare. So the two red Victinis have a really high 55% gem rate, but the White Flare Reshiram has a 65% gem rate. So it's really easy to get a PSA 10 versus something like the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved has an 18% gem rate. So you can kind of try and look to find easy gem rate with good profit on this page as well. On top of that, you can see trends as to what cards are going up and down in value. And thank you again to Sushi Grade for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's jump into the cards really quick because we have 10 cards that we are looking at that are super cheap. Well, not all of them are super cheap, but most of them are super cheap. And you can maximize your grading profit from them. Starting off with the Greninja Gold Star from the Sword and Shield promo. This is a $21 card right now. Actually, it's even cheaper. It's down to $18.91. This kind of got pumped up a little while ago and did see a bit of an increase. You could have picked this up 6 to 9 months ago, super cheap. However, since the increase, it's sitting around about the $20 mark. If you guys send this off to grade in a PSA 10, just in the plastic, you can get it for $500. But if you have it cracked out of the plastic, opened up and put into an actual PSA slab, $900, $910, $810, $898, $940. You kind of see what I'm saying here, right? This is a $20 card selling for $900 in a PSA 10. So go searching for your minty ones and come back and let me know how you go with grading them. Next up, another cheap card is the Celebrations Pikachu. This is sitting at $5 right now. So again, super cheap to start off with when you grade it in a PSA 10. And again, this is because they are so hard to grade in a 10. So you need to really be cautious with what you're looking at. Check your centering, check your corners, check your edges, check your surface. Make sure you know exactly what to look for. And if you don't, I can always make another video in the future. Just let me know in the comments down below if you want to know what to look for when grading. But this is going to come around $660, $670 for a PSA 10. Again, you've got the other Celebrations cards, which haven't quite taken a spike yet. But this one from Celebrations in terms of the full art Pikachu, you're looking around $600 to $700 in profit because it is such a cheap card. Sticking with Celebrations, and again, it seems to be a bit of a theme here. This Mew card from Celebrations is $3.60. But when you grade it in a PSA 10, look at some of these numbers. $699, $769, $590, $988. That's $1,000 that sold for on October 7th. 710, 831. And again, it's not just one odd sale where it's selling for this price. They're all selling for huge amounts. I don't know why this one was so cheap, but it could have been before the boom of this card and popularity. But again, look, there's another $1,000 one. So there's another really good option there. Jumping into the Mewtwo promo, this one is a $30 card right now. So 28 bucks for this one. In a PSA 10, you're looking at 600, 552, 540, 559. So again, another really great option. Next one of my personal favorites, the Groudon from Paradox Rift. Now, starting to get into some of the more expensive cards, right? Some of these are super cheap. Some of them are in the middle kind of range. And there's a few that are around about just shy of the $200 mark. There isn't many. I just threw a couple of them in here because I feel like they're good to have on this list when you're looking out for cards at shows. The Groudon has just spiked up to $95. It was available not that long ago for like 75 bucks, but even $95 is still worth it if you're going to grade it and get a 10 and then look at 550, 525, 500, 550. That one was 786, but best offer accepted, 476. So you can kind of see the pattern here. Even though it's a $90 card, you're still 5xing your money with the PSA 10. Next up, the Drowzee from Scarlet Violet Base Set. Now, Scarlet Violet Base and Paldea Evolved notoriously bad centering on their cards. So that is why some of these cards, and you'll see more in a minute, some of these cards from those sets have such high prices for a PSA 10 because the gem rate, which is the percentage that you actually score a 10, is very, very low. And the Drowzee is this case exactly $32.41, bringing in a $500 premium for those. Although there's been a few that have sold a little bit cheaper lately, around the $300 to $360 mark, but previously going for $500 in a PSA 10. So again, Scarlet Violet base, hard to grade, might be one to steer away from if you're not sure what to look for and you're just kind of eyeballing it. But if you really know your stuff, you should be able to make a play here. Next up, the most expensive card on this list is the Latias EX from Surging Sparks. Now, reason I put this one in here, right? I know it's a $180 card. That is expensive, right? I get it. I know that is expensive. However, Latias is one of those Pokemon that always tends to go up in value over time. And I feel like this artwork is really, really nice. It's part of another connecting artwork. It tells a story. And I think this one will be one of those cards that just continues to go up and up. So $180 right now, PSA 10 coming in at $425, $360, but then $710, $761, $437. So it's a bit all over the place. One for $600 right here, one for $800, one for $560. So anywhere from like $500 to $800 is what this is selling for right now. But I feel like if you wait and you hold on, once Surging Sparks fully disappears, this is going to be a really profitable card. Now, again, like I mentioned, Paldea evolved before, right? Really hard to grade. The Raichu, $60. I've spoken about the Tyranitar before. I've spoken about the Magic card before. These are all cards from Paldea evolved that are really, really hard to grade. $60 on the Raichu Raw is going to bring you back 480, 445, 457, 405, 406. So you're looking around the mid fours for the Raichu. There's a few that have sold under, there's a few that have sold over that, but I'd say mid to high fours is what you're expecting back on the Raichu. Now, jumping back a bit further, Sword and Shield era, this is the Gengar Trainer Gallery from Lost Origin. $35 card. It's up 70% lately. This was a $23 card, but now sitting at $35. In a PSA 10, $470, $400, $400, $450. So $420 here. You can see again, even these trainer galleries that people really didn't pay much attention to and weren't super huge fans of, there's a chance for something here, because often what I find is when people are looking at one specific thing, they're missing something else. And the thing that they're missing is something that ends up going up in value. So these trainer gallery cards weren't really sought after for the longest time. But now you look at the Gengar, the Pikachu, the Charizard, all of these cards from the trainer gallery are going up in value with the popular Pokemon. It's not to say all trainer galleries are going up in value, but the more popular Pokemon actually are. And yeah, obviously this Gengar will bring in about $400 for you in a PSA 10. And last but not least on this list, this is the Ralts from Scarlet Violet base. And again, super cheap card, $30. Not one that people pay a lot of attention to, but again, because of the bad gem rate, the bad centering, the bad print quality from Scarlet Violet base, this card is going to bring in an absolute premium in a PSA 10. 500, 455, 400, 450, 400, 400, 400, 360. So again, anywhere from $350 to $400 on this card, which is really interesting because Ralts was always such a cheap card. But now that people see the value in the PSA 10 prices, there might be more people looking to purchase it. And again, once these type of videos and this type of information gets out there, people do tend to buy a good amount of copy of these cards, which in turn is probably going to make the overall price of the raw card go up. So I tell you this because I think it's an opportunity for you guys to get on quickly. And once people start to realize the profit margins on some of these cards when they are graded, they're going to start to buy up all of the raw copies and look to send them in as well. So if you can find them now, jump out and get them. It might be worth putting together a whole submission of these exact cards if you want to. That's completely up to you, but there's a lot of chance for return on these cards. The thing to remember, though, is you do have to be able to sell them on the other end of the grading. So people have to actually want the card. They have to be popular Pokemon. They have to be desirable cards, right? And I think some of these cards hit that list, but some of them are potentially a little bit more risky. Things like the Mew here from Celebrations. I don't know if anyone wants to pay $1,000 for a PSA 10 version of a $3 card when they could buy 50 versions of the $3 card and just grade it themselves, right? I just think selling the $1,000 card would be potentially risky. I think the Mewtwo here is a really easy play. Mewtwo's super popular. People love Mewtwo. They're always going to look at this. And it's a promo card from 151. I think the Latias, like I mentioned earlier, is a good one to go for. The Groudon is super popular because it is a legendary. It's a sick artwork. I think some of these other ones, like the Ralts, is probably going to be a little bit harder to sell. And the Pikachu, the same thing. When it is so cheap, people can buy up so many copies and potentially just submit it for themselves too. I think the Greninja is a good one. I think Greninja will always sell. And in a PSA 10, you got a pretty good profit margin there, being the $800 to $900 mark on this one. There's always a good chance that you can make some great money there. But that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.